So our family is quite complex as well. I've had ME, or chronic fatigue syndrome, for 30 years now. I have 3 children, 2 of whom are NDIS participants. My 10-year-old son is autistic with a severe anxiety disorder on top of that, an ADHD, and a lot of behavioural issues. He requires a fairly high level of support. My 4-year-old is my little swan, Corbin. We really don't know with him, but he's kicking goals that he shouldn't be kicking. But our journey with, my husband also has Crohn's disease and a number of autoimmune conditions, and has had multiple spinal fusions. So as far as hands-on caring, he's pretty much out of the picture on that sort of stuff. So our household is pretty crazy. We have support workers all day, every day between both of the boys. I somehow keep myself going as best I can while trying to manage how many spoons I've got left at any given moment. But the journey with the NDIS has been pretty tumultuous right from the start with Corbin. Corbin's only 4 years old. He's nearly 5. So from when he was born, the NDIS was starting to roll out in our area. So he didn't actually access any state services, but because of the rollout and the agreement with the states, because we're in New South Wales rolled back all of their disability supports before NDIS was actually in place. So Corbin at 4 months old was diagnosed with all of these symptoms of what we don't know, and really needed a high level of support. And at that point, we actually thought that it was a neuromuscular condition and he was deteriorating quite rapidly. It took a ministerial intervention to even get him access to the NDIS. We were told it was going to take a year. So he's sort of had bad timing all his life. He's 4 now. He's on to his 9th plan. We're at the AAT for the 2nd time over the same issue, which is a lift for access to our house so that I'm not the only one that has to carry him up and down the stairs. We are fortunately with the complex support team now, but that took a lot of fighting. It was about 3 years. And unfortunately, Janine, I hate to tell you, it's not much better. We're on to our 2nd complex planner now. Our first one thankfully had a nursing background, but that still didn't necessarily help at our last plan review. Our first AAT case, we had the agency settled with everything that we had asked for and ended up with a fabulous plan for him. But because of a couple of line items missing, couldn't progress home mods. Plan review came, we had all the relevant quotes, all home mods funding removed, and $1,000 put in, not even adequate to cover the costs we needed. Nursing support removed that had been previously approved at the AAT. So we're kind of on this roundabout of basically fighting for supports, getting them, not being able to put place, and fighting again. And I think the biggest thing for me is there's such a level of mistrust in the agency. They don't value carers' input. We know more about our family members than anyone else, and to have to pay ridiculous amounts of money for professional reports to say the same thing over and over and over again is just ridiculous. So yeah, we've pretty much covered the whole gamut of experiences with the agency. Corbin's plan was cut by $200,000 last year. We're back at AAT over a $3,000 quote that they forgot to put in, and it looks like it's hopefully going to settle. We had a 2nd case conference yesterday, but again, the burden of evidence to get re-quoted for things that were provided to the agency back in 2020 is just insane. And it's unfair on businesses as well, asking them to do work without being paid in the hope that eventually the agency will approve it. We've actually been very lucky both times at the AAT to have an advocate. But I know that our local advocacy group, their funding has been uncertain to the point very recently our advocate was applying for other jobs. And luckily their funding came through. So I think one of the big things for me would be really certainty around advocacy funding and increasing advocacy funding so that everyone can access what we've been fortunate to access in that respect, because I certainly couldn't have navigated the process the way I have without her support. And there's so many people missing out. And what I worry about is, I mean, I'm educated, I'm able to advocate for myself when I'm not too tired. But there's no equitable outcome for kids who don't have someone who can do that for them. And I guess I'm really concerned about how do we leverage when those of us who are having little wins, how do we leverage that so that that then flows on to everyone?